Well, it's the morning before we leave, and I felt like I could get away with this first thing in the morning. I'm standing underneath the tree because it is pouring here. It is raining a lot. You can probably hear it coming off the tree. Well, I gotta say, the situational disability has escalated. It's gotten even more so in my comment section. I've seen a few, and it's devolving into a talk against accessibility in gaming. That's not the purpose of it. Accessibility in gaming exists. You should have it. There should be some stuff that exists for accessibility in gaming. However, these situational disabilities that they are talking about, that she talks about in her video, she did the person that's talking about this, they did a follow-up to it. And it's just rehashing the same thing, going over the Microsoft document that we've already gone over for the inclusive disabilities and situations and stuff like that. I'm just going to keep turning around so you guys can maybe get some view here. You know what? We're going to walk out here. Yeah, sure, it's raining. I don't really care. I'm back here on the dock. We leave today, so this is, you'll get to see this after I come home. But yeah, these situational disabilities, it's a lie. I'm going to call this what it is. It's a straight up lie and an excuse to ignore your responsibility in life or in your job or in driving. The situational disability, them listing distracted driving on there. Well, distracting driving where I am here in Alberta, well, I'm in Nova Scotia right now, but in Alberta, it's a $372 fine if you get caught distracted driving on your cell phone and such. And in cases like if you're driving under the influence, your insurance might get canceled. So let's talk about that for a second. We're talking a situational disability that is being put towards it. And, you know, in her video, I watched most of the video, where they're talking about an accent being a situational disability. Well, you know what? I don't speak clearly a lot of times. I've had cell phones that don't pick up what I'm saying, and then I have to sit there and reiterate it. But I don't use my voice with my phone in a lot of cases to try and use the features of my phone. I just don't do that. I go through it a different way, the more natural way. As AI evolves, things like that are going to go to the wayside, and it doesn't really become a situation where you need to worry about it. But I think that puts the point really moot, because originally this was talking about needing a pause button in Elden Ring. The design of the game, the way the game is designed, you do not need a pause button. And if you're a savvy gamer and someone that's done a little bit of research on Elden Ring, there is another way that you can pause the game. You just have to go through an extra step and bring up a tooltip which pauses the game. So there is technically a pause button in Elden Ring, but you got to go through a couple extra steps. These situational disabilities that is being pushed out there by Microsoft, in the idea that these are things that they're trying to do for design in a software. If that was the case, we wouldn't see laws like distracted driving existing. We wouldn't see laws like here, well, I guess not here in Nova Scotia, but in Alberta, we do have the law. If you are working in an unsafe manner, it is your responsibility to stop the job, to stop working. That is in OH&S legislation, which I also have taken courses in for my job. That's part of why I'm speaking out against this, because this is the law where I come from. If you're going to sit there and tell me that situational disability is a reason, an excuse why you need a pause button in a video game, no, it's just an excuse to ignore the responsibilities that you have set in front of you, aka watching your kid, doing your job at work. Distractions exist in everything. Hell, I can be distracted by a vehicle driving down the road right now. If I don't look both ways before I cross the street, then what am I doing? I've stepped out in the middle of traffic, which I know in America, not in Canada, but in America, and also on my work site, you have to give the right of way to the vehicle. There's reason for that. The vehicle is bigger than you. The vehicle will kill you. I'm going to let that vehicle go. And that's why I'm speaking about this. It's not so much that Elden Ring needs a pause button, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. You can fast travel everywhere around in the game. If you're in the middle of a boss fight and you need to pause the game, you're going to die anyway. That's the way the game is designed. Like, if you need to pause during a boss battle, you're going to die the second you unpause it, because that's the way the game works. The game also uses what's called input reading. So if the game knows you've paused it, it's going to just go ham on you through the input reading. That's why you can't sit there and fire at someone generally from a distance non-stop, because the game will change its stance, change what it's doing to what you are doing in the game. That's what makes it very challenging, and why the game kind of cheats in that manner, because of input reading. And I've spoken about this in the past. It's something that Mortal Kombat used back in the day to get more quarters out of gamers in an arcade. This was the whole reason for input reading, is to get you to buy into the game a lot more. But if you're going to use an excuse like situational disability, it literally is a lie and an excuse. I will not buy this, especially in my line of work. I will not buy this when it comes to everything else out there in the world. Yes, you can make things, you can design things to make them easier so you are not distracted at your job while you're trying to do your job, or while you're trying to play a video game. You can also hire a babysitter, which would take away what is being called right now a situational disability. You generally, if you are a family unit, you can trade off with your spouse, and then you can actually dedicate time to playing a game. You see where this is going? You mitigate the risk. You don't sit there and give it as an excuse. It's an excuse. I've been involved in what's called a taproot investigation before, because I got injured at work. I had a cable fall down on my arm, and it almost snapped my arm in two. What was the root cause of it? Well, the root cause was because the manufacturer sent the wrong clamp. We did everything possible in that situation to try and mitigate all the risks. We even had in our documentation one of the risks of this cable coming down and what to do if it did. And we tried to do our very best. However, you cannot sit there and stop the forces of nature, being gravity at this point, from stopping what things do. And it's going to do what it's going to do. And that's why this is a situation, why it's a very serious situation if you're going to start talking about situational disabilities like this, and then give an excuse on why you're being distracted from the things you're doing. I might talk a little bit here, but this is something I'm very serious about. And when it comes to my job, I take it very seriously, because I have been injured. I've known people that have been killed. I have seen these things in the past, and they will get you killed, or worse, you will kill someone else. And that's why I talk out about this. When it comes to software design, if you're going to write into your software on how to be on your cell phone while you're driving, well, then I've got no respect for Microsoft for doing things like that. And it's absolutely disparaging, and is something that needs to stop, and this type of thing needs to be called out, and that's why I'm speaking up against it. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cindershadow. I'm signing off here. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.